For the past several years, Super Mario Bros. Speedruns have been going on a journey. I'm not talking about the full game speedrun. That's an incredible story of its own. No, I'm talking about speedruns of the individual levels, completing a single stage from start to finish as fast as possible. The 8 levels in an any percent run have individually been optimized to near perfection, but a few years ago that wasn't the case. Players have had to figure out seemingly impossible tricks and break the game in ways previously unimaginable. This is Super Mario Bros. The Human Limit. First, a few basics. To beat Super Mario Bros. As fast as humanly possible, you start in 1-1, play through 1-2, then warp to 4-1, play 4-2, warp to 8-1, then play 8-2, 8-3, and finally 8-4 to finish the game. That's 2 levels in World 1, 2 levels in World 4, and 4 levels in World 8, for a total of 8 levels. Normally, for an any percent speedrun, you have to play through all 8 of these levels consecutively, beating the entire game. But here's the thing, since Super Mario Bros. Has been so broken down and optimized over the years, we actually know fairly definitively what the fastest possible time is. It comes out to 454.26. This was pulled off in a tool-assisted speedrun, or a TAS, where the player uses save states, slowdown, and frame by frame to create a theoretically perfect speedrun in an emulator, by a TASer named Maru. There's a slightly faster version of the TAS at 454.03 by Happy Lee, but that version allows you to press left and right on the controller to accelerate faster, which can't be done on a normal NES controller. So, 454.26 is our perfect time. Unless something new is discovered, it's physically impossible to beat Super Mario Bros. Faster than 454.26. Now, if you know much about Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning, you probably know about the game's frame rule system. Essentially, Super Mario Bros. Only checks to see if you've beaten a level every 21 frames, or every 0.35 seconds. So, in every stage, you can only gain time in increments of 21 frames. There's an analogy for this created by former world record holder Derbien, so I'll let him explain it to you.
Imagine that this little castle that Mario walks into is not a castle but a bus stop. And imagine that in the Mushroom Kingdom, buses operate on a very, very specific schedule such that every 0.35 seconds a bus departs a station and takes its passengers to the following level. So no matter how quickly you play a level, you have to wait for the next bus to depart to get there. And what this means is that when you speedrun the game, you don't have to play each level perfectly to avoid losing time. You just have to play each level well enough to get on the same bus as somebody who did play perfectly.
So, the goal is to catch the same bus as a perfect run. This frame roll system applies in every stage except 8-4, where timing stops immediately upon touching the axe. And so, getting the fastest possible frame rolls plus a frame perfect 8-4 puts the run at 454.26. Now, let's go back to 2016. The sum of perfection at that point was a frame slower, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to keep it at 454.26. That was the perfect time. The sum of best that humans had pulled off was 457.01. 2.75 seconds behind perfection. That time difference came from the fact that on each of the 7 levels before 8-4, The best humans had done was one frame rule behind perfect. No more, no less. Humans were off by one frame rule in each stage. The fastest ways humans could beat stages usually involved just running to the end as fast as possible. There were some tough tricks, yes, but the task frame rules each involved doing something extra. Clipping into blocks, doing frame-perfect maneuvers, all tricks that humans didn't know how to do. One of these tricks in particular appeared over and over again in the run. This is the flagpole glitch. By very precisely clipping into the flagpole block, you can make the level end without having the flag slide to the bottom. You can see here how Mario reaches the castle faster without having to wait for the flag. In some cases, this is enough to save a frame rule. In 1-1, 4-1, and 8-3, the task uses the flagpole glitch to do just that. In those three stages, the flagpole glitch was the difference between humans and the task. But for years, nobody knew how to do it in real time. To clip into the block, not only does the jump have to be perfectly timed, but Mario's subpixel positioning also needs to be correct. That's his position within a pixel. Certain inputs will change this position by a lot, so getting the correct ones couldn't be done reliably. That, combined with needing the perfect jump to get in position, and needing to do the proper inputs once in the block to touch the flagpole, put this trick out of reach. At least until late 2015, when players started to look into it a bit more. That December, a runner named DorTK made a save state from a jump on the staircase, and brute forced the inputs of the block until he was able to touch the pole. It was the first time a human had done the end inputs for a flagpole glitch. A few months later, runner Mav6771 replicated it and then went a step further, using a save state from the pipe instead of during the jump. This was the first ever full flagpole glitch done in real time. It was starting to come together, but for this to be official, it had to be pulled off in a full level. And there was a lot needed for that to happen. You needed to be fast enough in the underground to save the frame rule, then jump from the perfect pixel off the staircase, then hope you got the right subpixels from a mid-air hesitation, and finally do the perfect inputs at the block to clip in. Just the luck from the subpixels alone put the trick at 1 in several dozen. But even for the best players in the world, chaining all of that together would be in the magnitude of 1 in several hundred. The community needed the best of the best for a chance to pull this off. The player who was most likely to hit multiple frame-perfect tricks in a row. Who would it be? Well, how about the world record holder, Derbien?
For 0.35 seconds.
On August 19th, 2016, Derbien successfully hit the flagpole glitch in 1-1. For the first time ever, the perfect frame roll had been achieved in a level of Super Mario Bros. It was impossible to save even another frame. Now, there were two more levels the flagpole glitch could be used on, 4-1 and 8-3, but keep in mind, with the subpixels and frame-perfect maneuvers needed, these would each be 1 in several hundred chances. But luckily, a month later, the community would get some help. Sockfolder is a speedrunning wizard, best known for discovering the cannonless setup in Super Mario 64 and various tricks in Zelda Ocarina of Time. By September 2016, he was looking into ways to make the flagpole glitch consistent. More specifically, finding a way to control Mario's subpixel value to make the trick possible every time. He had a bot that ran thousands of input combinations at the end of the level, before finding a setup that involved landing on this step without holding B, then holding right and B for 2 frames before doing a full jump. If done properly, this gives Mario the subpixel values he needs so he can